in your big toe, giving you some gouty arthritis. So we need to make sure we take care of that first. If we don't have any people in our family who have gout, then the next thing I would go to is your mobility of that big toe. Do you have mobility of that big toe? If you don't have mobility of that big toe, then we need to work on getting better mobility of that big toe. If we're not doing that, I would start looking at your mechanics. And if it's the mechanics of your foot and ankle, then I would focus on if you've had any previous ankle sprains, especially if it was a bad one and you were immobilized for a long period of time, either multiple weeks, or if you had a broken ankle and that was 6 weeks ago, I would see if that was, or 6 weeks you were in a cast or whatever, or a walking boot. I would focus on that as well, because if we're dealing with any kind of restriction in that ankle and we're trying to gain some level of dorsiflexion, or that bringing your toes up towards the sky kind of scenario, if you're missing any mobility in that big toe, or you're missing any mobility in that ankle, what will happen is, if this is my big toe, we will not be able to dorsiflex. We'll not be able to push off appropriately, or we'll not be able to go from heel strike and foot flat to mid stance, where we're kind of going into that dorsiflexion where our shin is moving forward on our ankle. And what will happen is, instead of being able to push off appropriately, we'll turn our foot inward